Welcome to BS Draftcast, where we are Brandon and Steven, and we're back at you with another Sunday coverage of today's NFL slate. We got some good games today. Hopefully, we can keep the streak alive of NFL picks. We've been on an absolute tear. We are 17-2 over college and football in the last 4 weeks, which is actually insane. There's no capper in the business that can say that they're on the run that we're on. As always, I got my man Steven on me. He had a rough day yesterday with Starlink's junk ass. um, so hopefully we can change up the mood today and get this thing rolling. Steven, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing a lot better than yesterday. That's for damn sure. Yeah, I hate that you brought it up already. I wasn't even ready for it. No, I'm doing all right.
Nah, good. Love to hear it. Um, yeah. So I mean, we got a good slate of games today. Hopefully we got some good football. One of the key matchups I'm looking at is the Minnesota Vikings and Green Bay Packers. I think that's going to be a good game. Jordan Love is back to supposedly being healthy, so hopefully he doesn't re-injure that ankle. And you got Sam Darnold on the other side, who's just been going crazy. Um, let's start there. What's what are you looking for this game? You think it's going to be a run heavy game, or with Jordan Love back in that lineup, do you think you see more of a passing attack and it's just an up and down, which defense gets a stop type of game?
I think we're going to see more of a passing attack in this one as opposed to when Malik Willis was playing was starting for Green Bay. He played well for what was expected of him. He played well, and
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I could
Hell,
see
they
him
went two and
getting
zero,
them guys involved though.
and you
Yeah,
you figure 2-0 for your backup of Malik, who literally they basically said that he shouldn't even be in the league. He's been junked. Uh, I mean, hell, that he did everything you can ask of him, and the run game was strong. And I mean, I don't. I think this could be a very good game, honestly. The Packers are favored by 3 points. Um, I think it's going to boil down to if that Packers defense gets the turnovers that they've been getting. I think it's going to be a long day. But Sam Darnold has been protecting the ball very well, and I think that plays into Minnesota's favor. And once again, I think Jordan Addison is hurt again. Is still hurt, I should say. Am I correct on that?
yeah. I think he's still hurt. I don't think he's going to play today.
Okay, so that's a major blow to uh, the Vikings and what they want to do on offense. Justin Jefferson is Justin Jefferson. Obviously, the man's just he's something else. That's for sure. I do see that Jordan Love is questionable, so I wonder if that's going to be like one of those game time decision type deals. Do you have any inclination on that? Any ideas or anything if it is or not?
No, I haven't seen anything. I was trying to look and just to verify that Jordan Addison is out, but my reception down here stinks, so I'm waiting for my tablet to load so
I
I don't want
don't
to be wrong on it.
right. I don't see him on the injury report actually. Um, Madison. Uh, I don't see it. I think he might. No, he doesn't have a designate injury designation. Okay, so that changes things up a bit. Um, I think that the Vikings are the real deal. Uh, I mean, they throttled the Texans. They beat the 49ers and then the Giants, which the Giants are the Giants. But I don't know if the Vikings have played quite the defense that the Packers have. Would you agree with that?
Hmm. Man, I'll say that the Vikings defense has played um, better than expected. Um, they've been rock solid, man. They've been getting consistent pressure on the quarterback too. Like they've been playing well. Um,
Well, I'm saying on the flip side, like, has the Vikings offense played a defense as good as the Packers? Because I don't think that
okay.
49ers I don't think that 49ers team is as great as everyone thinks it is, especially with all the injuries they have now.
Yeah, the 49ers they've been banged up, and they haven't looked good for the first 3 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I I think this will be the true test for the Vikings, and if they're actually, I think they are the real deal. No, there's no doubt in my mind they're not the real. Like Sam Darnold's playing great ball. I think it's kind of like the Jared Goff factor in Detroit. As long as Sam Darnold plays smart football, doesn't turn the ball over, nothing like that. I think that they have a real shot at winning any game. But this Packers defense it's no joke. I mean, we would have to assume Jair Alexander's going to be one on one with Jay Jettas, I would think. Uh, man, I don't know. I don't have a pick for this game. I'm not a big fan. I think it's going to be a very good game. If you put a gun to my head and told me, oh, I might get banned for that. Sorry, everyone. I probably shouldn't have said that. If you threaten me with a
There we
tickle
go.
time,
Yeah, there you go.
this soft ass world we live in. Um, if you threaten me with tickle time and I had to take a pick, man, I kind of want to ride the hot hand and roll with the Vikings +3. I think this could be a close game. I think this could be a really close game. The way the both defenses are playing, they both run the ball well, and they both have the big playability. You know what? I actually might take the Vikings. I feel that pressure might get to Jordan Love. Might be a little timid on that ankle. I might take the Vikings. We're gonna look at that. Let's go to the next 1 o'clock game: Pittsburgh Steelers, Indianapolis Colts. What's your thoughts here? I have my own thoughts, but I want to hear your thoughts first on this game. What do you think about Justin Fields in this offense so far? Obviously, it's not been crazy or high powered. Last week, he had a great game, but what's your thoughts on this Pittsburgh Steelers team being 3-0 in the division? 3-0 right now, one of the few standing 3-0 teams um, remaining in the NFL, and then you got a Colts team that's been kind of struggling.
And I think this is going to be. I think it's going to be a good game. To be honest, I think that for Pittsburgh, you gotta you gotta stop the run with Jonathan Taylor. That's the biggest hurdle. Anthony Richardson as a passer this year, like he's been wildly inconsistent, and I'm really hoping to see him get to that next level. But he's coming off that shoulder injury, so maybe that plays a part in it. Um, but he's had some turnovers, but he's also had some big plays that he's made with his arm too. So I think that trying to keep him contained in the pocket, which T.J. Watt and them, Nick Herbig. I think Nick Herbig is starting today, right?
Yes, Herbig's starting. Well, so that's a weird situation in Pittsburgh, and actually, I'm glad you brought that up. Pittsburgh is now moving to Marvin Leal, who I love. I love that pick, but they're moving him to a standing edge rusher. That's a big boy to be a standing edge rusher. Uh, so I don't know if on like rundowns, Leal was gonna be in like your first and second, because Herbig, and we talked about this, and I'll let you touch more on it. I feel like Herbig is more of that. He's just a strict pass rusher. He's not. Uh, he's not an every down guy. He's not just. He's just not built for it. I mean, could he be potentially? But I'm worried about that side of the line. If they're passing, great. Let Herbig eat. But man, I just don't know how I feel about Leal.
Yeah, I think they're going to kind of use him to be the edge setter, guy that kind of stops the run. Like when we talked about it when he came out of A&M, he he was he was a tweener. You know what I mean? He's not bulk wise. He just has a weird build. Like he's built like a defensive tackle, like a three technique.
Yeah.
but he was built like a 3-4 end, but he doesn't stop the run as well whenever he's down in a stance as opposed to
Right.
when he's standing up. He's like a tweener, man, and just trying to find him that because he's a pass rusher, but he's you know what I mean, like he's like an interior pass rusher. I think that he's more of a 4-3-3 technique than he is like a Cam Hayward. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yes. Like he has so many intangibles of different positions, and he just can't put it all together.
Yeah. So I keeping Anthony Richardson contained in the pocket is the biggest aside from stopping the run with Jonathan Taylor, but keeping Anthony Richardson in the pocket and forcing him to beat you with his arm, that's what Pittsburgh's going to have to do, and that's what Pittsburgh is. That's what they're good at. They're good at keeping the quarterback in the pocket, and keeping them honest. I mean, they may break off one, when they get overly aggressive and whatnot, but for the most part, they should be able to keep Anthony Richardson contained. But it's stopping that run because Pittsburgh's been kind of like hit or miss with stopping the run this year. So I think it's gonna be a really good game personally.
Right. I agree with you 100%. And that's the thing that's funny, and you mentioned it. Like Pittsburgh's been hit or miss with stopping the run, and it seems like teams are stopping the run for them. like prime
Mm-hmm.
example, the Falcons. Bijan was gashing Pittsburgh, and they just stopped running the ball. And I think the Colts, if Jonathan Taylor's averaging 3-4 yards a carry, I feel that the Colts don't give a damn. They won't even let Anthony Richardson throw the ball. They'll have Richardson running RPOs and handing the ball off and running out on the edge on himself. And that's where our defense is going to have to be disciplined and play Steeler football and keep everything contained. Don't let them break it, contain on it, and keep them inside, funnel them back into the teeth of that defense. This game, everyone knows I don't bet on my favorite team just for the sheer fact that it takes the enjoyment of watching the game. I do have weird feelings about this game. I don't know why. I don't know if this is the game where because Pittsburgh's not built to come back from a deficit. They're just not built that way. I mean, they have the playmakers to do it, but they're not built to come back. And if the Colts can jump out to an early lead, like a 10-14 nothing lead, I think it poses a lot of problems for Pittsburgh. But the defense is insane. It gives me that like 2005 vibe of that scary defense that just plays outside their mind. But I'd like to see some more splash plays from Minka. I feel like the ball would usually just find him. He didn't have to find it. And maybe it's the role that he's playing right now in the defense, but I'd like to see some splash plays from Minka. And if a ball hits Patrick Queen in the hands another week and he doesn't pick the ball off, I'm going to lose my mind. But hey, let's go Pittsburgh. Let's have a big game. I feel it could be a very, very scary game. I wouldn't be shocked if the Indianapolis Colts sneak this game out in a last-second field goal. I just don't. I'm realistic. I just feel that one slip up from Pittsburgh is coming, and I don't want it to happen, but it could happen.
I want to say back to
Yeah.
that Vikings game real quick. So my tablet kind of loaded, but like reading between the lines, because he doesn't have Jordan Addison, he doesn't have an injury status, but reading between the lines, I think he's going to play. He was limited participant in practice this week, but he said that he's going to play. So I think that he will play, whether that's as a full-time starter or just
Limited
playing
snaps.
in limited snaps. Then that's up for debate. But yeah, I think that Jordan Addison will play today.
All right. Well, I'm glad you made mention of that because that's a key factor, and we're not talking about some third string receiver. But Sam Darnold has been passing the ball around to everyone on that team, so maybe he's a decoy. You know what I mean? Not getting him hit or anything.
Yeah. No, he's definitely been spreading it around.
Jaguars Texans. All right. I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm.
We're turning our focus from Danny Dimes to Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, you suck. Every week
Oh
we were
man.
trashing Danny Dimes. Last week we took the Giants, which everyone said we were crazy. We were complete sweep of the board last week, by the way. But man, this Jaguar team blows. This team
Yep.
sucks. Trevor Lawrence looks. I can't. Never mind. I'm not going to say that. Trevor Lawrence looks bad. Trevor Lawrence looks terrible, man. Uh, I the Texans got absolutely manhandled by the Vikings last week. Today's a bounce back game. C.J. Stroud might throw for 400 yards today. I
Dude,
just, I, I don't know. I don't have much on this game because the Giants or the Jaguars are so bad, and someone that was 2-0 against Buffalo in his career and in going to Buffalo, just they Jaguars dominated since T Law came in the league. Buffalo absolutely got dismantled. The game was over in the first quarter. I mean, I have nothing to say good about this Jaguars team. I mean, the guy that's killing you with his legs, and you don't do anything about it. You just let him continue to kill you with his legs. It just didn't make sense to me that I felt that I should be the defensive coordinator, or they should have just put an ad in the newspaper and said, "Hey, does anyone want to try this gig out and see what you can do?" Each quarter of that Buffalo Bills game, just give it a whirl. See if you can come up with something different because it was bad. I watched the entire game until halftime. I can't even say the entire game. I watched till halftime, and I turned that Bengals Commanders game on, and that game was amazing. And we'll get to the Commanders and the Bengals, but man, I don't know if you have anything to say. Give me the Texans -5.5. That line seems awfully low. It's kind of baity, but give me the Texans -5.5.
no, I'm with you, man. I think the Texans are going to end up winning this game. But my question is though, Joe Mixon's a game time decision. I feel like not having Joe Mixon last week against the Vikings because they couldn't get nothing going on the ground, and the
Oh,
Texans,
they
I
were
don't know,
terrible.
they just had a off week. I mean, you're right, they got destroyed by the Vikings. Like they looked bad, man. Like they couldn't get anything going on the ground. They couldn't get anything going through the air. They just they didn't look good last week. I mean, that game, I was really looking forward to that game last week, and it ended up being a blowout. I mean, there was a few games last week that I was looking forward to, and I was like, oh shit, like,
It looked bad.
yeah,
It
it's
looked
like what
horrible.
happened, but yeah, but that game in particular. So if that same Texans team shows up this week, the Jags might pull off an upset. I'm not saying that they're going to. I do think the Texans end up having this as a bounce back game, like you said. Um, but that Texans D line should eat against this Jaguar offensive line. I mean, that's when they revamped that line this offseason, I was like, okay, the Jags are starting to put pieces around them. They drafted Brian Thomas at receiver. Like they're really putting pieces around T Law. That line has been getting trashed, and whenever T Law does have time, he's not getting the ball there. Like
He's airmailing
that team is
passes.
completely, yeah,
Yeah.
they're inept, dude. They can't do anything right. But I'm with you on the Texans going over.
I do I agree with you on that with the Texans. And honestly, Cam Akers is no joke. I like Cam Akers. But man, I I don't know. Like the, Cam Akers looked like hell, and maybe it was just a defensive scheme that they were running with the Vikings. But bro, they couldn't do anything. C.J. Stroud looked the worst he's looked ever. I honestly think this is his worst game he's ever had. Uh, since he came in the league last year. I mean, 2 interceptions that were just bad. He was sacked 4 times. He had a QBR of 68.6. I mean, he just looked bad. Now, if you
Yeah,
erase C.J. Stroud in the rushing and you just look at the receivers, you're like, damn, Texans had a great game. Tank Dell 62, Nico Collins 86, Stephon Diggs 94, but not a single touchdown other than the one to Cam Akers for 8 yards. I mean, it was abysmal. I mean, the Texans. If D'Amico Ryans is the coach that we all think he is, he was in that ass. I can tell you that. Yeah, give me the Texans
100%.
-5.5, man. I can't see the Texans having another week like that. Uh, there's no way. There's just no way. Saints Falcons. Falcons are starting to get rolling, man. Falcons are starting to get rolling. They, whoo, the Falcons. I'm gonna come out and say it. We said it last week. The Falcons win that game if the referees aren't in the Chiefs' pockets. Ban us for
No,
that.
no.
Ban us for that. I don't even care because it's worth it. The fact that uh, I feel like we're beating a dead horse, dude. I really do. But, bro, this is the fact that the refs don't even care anymore. I mean, the receiver was getting tackled in the end zone, basically, fighting back for the ball. Nope, didn't see nothing. And don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Whatever the Falcons were doing, they called Matt Canada and said, "Hey, bro, what would you do on 4th and inches?" And he said, "Run the widest play that you have to the running back. Even though the Chiefs have every single guy up in the box, run the absolute widest play you have. I know you haven't gotten an off tackle run to work yet today, but run that shit. I'm telling you, it's gonna work." And it got blown up. Bubble screen. Try to bubble screen them to death. Yeah, it was bad, and I'm not. That's where I'm just gonna leave the Chiefs and Falcons. The Saints, they were in a very what was the final score of that game? Eagles game,
Mm,
15 to
Dude,
12.
yuck.
15 to 12. Which we're talking about a team that scored 47 week 1, 44 week 2, and an Eagles defense that has been getting eaten alive holds them to 12 points. And we called that the Saints would come back to life. I mean it was gonna happen. But Derek Carr 14 to 25 for 142 yards. What happened? I mean, I didn't watch this game. I don't know if you watched it at all, but I don't know what happened. Are the
I watched
Saints
pieces of it.
are the Saints
Yeah, they,
like real like I think the Saints are the real deal, but I don't think that you're going to see offensive explosions anymore.
I think that I think what happened was the Eagles they did exactly what you need to do to beat the Saints, and that's stop Alvin Kamara. If you stop Alvin Kamara and you put it on Derek Carr, this is the type of game you get. I mean,
Mhm.
truthfully, and that's not a knock against Derek Carr. I'm just saying when you bottle up Alvin Kamara, 26 carries, 87 yards, 3.3 yards average, no tuds. That's that's what you got to do. That's how you got to play. That's how you got to play the Saints.
I mean, you're
Stop
not
Alvin
wrong
Kamara, just stop their offense.
because I'm looking at the games that they blew the other teams out, Cowboys and Panthers, and Derek Carr only threw for against the Cowboys for 243, but Alvin Kamara 20 carries, 115 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he had that long receiving touchdown against them. Uh, and honestly, a lot of Derek Carr's passes came from that 70-yard bomb. His yards came from that 70-yard bomb to Shaheed. And then against the Panthers, he only had 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. So, I mean, hey, you're cooking with that. That is the recipe, apparently. Falcons, Falcons, Falcons. I'm not gonna lie. Give me the Falcons, man. I've been riding this Falcons train for 3 straight weeks, and I love the Falcons. I've been a Falcons fan forever. So I love the Falcons. Obviously, Pittsburgh's my main team, but I think the Falcons are starting to heat up. I think they have a recipe. I think they're figuring it out as long as they don't do whatever the hell they did in the second half of the Chiefs game offensively. You're going to see a heavy dosage of Bijan, and yeah, give me the Falcons -2.5. And I think it's in Atlanta. Yes, it is. Yeah, give me the Falcons -2.5. Here we go. The Bears are favored. Rams and Bears. Rams and Bears, dog. Your boy Caleb Williams.
Yeah, I'm on board.
Your boy, you're deserving #1 overall draft pick. Caleb Williams is so ass. Hey, he's so bad. Caleb Williams is terrible. But you have questionable Keenan Allen. He may play. Give him another weapon so he can airmail some passes. You have a Rams team who's completely decimated, but somehow, some way, this team just got their first win against the quote-unquote, air quotes right now, dominant San Francisco 49ers, which also we took last weekend. We took the Rams. What do you see happening in this game? Do you think that this decimated Rams team beats Chicago in Chicago?
That would honestly that'd be like the last straw for Chicago. But I could see it happening. That Rams team, man, I don't know, they just find like ways to win. I don't know. The Bears defense has played well.
Yeah,
So there's
it's
that.
played tremendous. It's played tremendous.
I mean, Caleb Williams is running for his life, and then whenever he does get time, I mean, it's high, it's in the dirt. I mean, they can't get anything really going on offense. DeAndre Swift's kind of been a disappointment, to be honest.
My goodness. I think that honestly, like I hate to blame it on one thing, but bro, I'm gonna be honest. Other than the offensive line for the Bears, I think not having legit not having a run game at all, like it's non-existent. It is non-existent. I think their rushing leader has 30 yards on the season. Yeah. DeAndre Swift has 20 yards, and Roschon Johnson has 30. Their leading rusher on the season has 30 yards.
Dude, I honestly wonder. I hate to throw shade and stuff, but dude, the Chicago Bears are snake bitten. I mean, I don't know what they did, but they can't get anything going as far as quarterbacks, dude. And I'm just like, is it Matt Eberflus? You know, like, is it the coach at this point? I mean, you got to dump all this money,
bro. It's got to be.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you dump all this money into this offensive line. You dump all this money into the running back. You dump all this money at receiver. Like, you draft receivers. I mean, you got Rome Odunze and you got Caleb Williams in the same freaking draft. Like, I don't understand. I know that it takes time to become cohesive and everything else and yada, yada, yada. But, like, they can't do anything right on offense, like, whatsoever. And I'm glad you brought up Roschon Johnson, because I was, like, looking at it, I'm like, maybe let Roschon kind of see what he can do and then bring in DeAndre on third downs or as like a change of pace or something like that. Maybe see what Roschon can do. Roschon's a power back. You know, maybe see what he can do. Maybe give him a whirl, see how he does and fits in the offense with Caleb out there and whatnot, and just see what you can get out of him. I mean, what's it going to hurt, honestly? honestly.
Well, here's my question for you: where the hell's Khalil Herbert? Did he lose his legs? Like, is that dude in double amputee? Like,
I forget what the heck's going on with him.
like what is wrong with him? Like, bro, I like Khalil Herbert, but like he's been healthy every game. I think, as far as I know, why is he not on the field?
I don't know.
This organization is just, man, there's something wrong with the organization because, I mean, like you said, Caleb Williams, Roma Duzier drafted this year, and you still have DJ Moore, you got Keenan Allen, you have Cole Kmet, and yeah, your run game has been completely non-existent whatsoever. I mean, it's like you're playing Madden and you're just lined up in shotgun 5 wide all game long. And they don't run the ball. But bro, I don't understand. Like you guys got to clearly change something. Now, I mean, we're in week 4 and your quarterback is looking like the biggest bust in NFL history.
Can't argue with
Like,
that.
I don't. I kind of want to ride the money train that the Bears have been giving me and take the Rams. I really do, bro. I mean, we're playing with house money. We are 17-2 in the last 4 weeks, bro, over college and pros, and I kind of want to ride the money train. I might sprinkle a little something on the Rams, just for the fact that it's the Rams against the Bears, dude. I might. But that
Yeah,
Bears
why not?
defense is no joke. If they force turnovers, they're gonna win this game. But the question is, can they put up points off of these turnovers? Uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
dude, look at this. Like, freaking Khalil Herbert in week 1 had 2 touches. Then he had 4 touches. Like,
yeah, yeah. They're not playing. They like brought DeAndre Swift in. They're like, yeah, sorry, Khalil, you're junk.
yeah, dude. Like, I don't know what they got going on, dude.
I don't understand. I don't get it. Hey, maybe it's Khalil Herbert's getting the Darnell Washington treatment. Maybe he's getting the Calvin Austin treatment. I don't know how to use him.
That's possible. Yeah, it's definitely possible.
I tell you how to use him. You turn around and hand the ball to him. Jesus.
Yeah, man, get that freaking 6'8" tight end in the red zone and freaking throw it up in the air. That's how you use him.
Darnell
Come on
got
now.
Darnell got his one catch, man. He got his one catch, touchdown. He's good. He's done for the season. All right, moving on. These bum ass Bears. Eagles, Tampa Bay. Eagles are only favored by 1 point, which I mean, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, load up on the Eagles, load up on the Eagles, load up on the Eagles." And I'm with you. I'm a fan of this Eagles team. The line opened up at 2.5, but again, Devonta Smith out, AJ Brown out. Devonta took a nasty hit last week. AJ Brown's still dealing with the hamstring. The Buccaneers play the Eagles so tough. So I think you're going to see the most usage out of Saquon than you've ever seen. The Eagles are going to use Saquon more than the Giants ever used Saquon this game. And I don't like it. I'm not touching it. I'm not a fan. It's sickening. And the Buccaneers just got throttled by the Broncos, which I don't understand what happened there. We took that bet as well. It's just, oh man, the Buccaneers are. It's only one game, and I get it. The Buccaneers are in that that status of like, are they a fluke? Was that win against Tampa or against the Lions a fluke? The Commanders they beat handily, so it wasn't like it was You know what I mean? But the Eagles team is decimated with injuries, and I'm not a fan of this game. What do you see with this game? What's your thoughts on Eagles and Buccaneers?
Yeah, this game's going to be an interesting game just because, like you were saying, Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown are both out. Lane Johnson's out. That's three star players on that on that team. I mean, like star players on that offense, and the defense. Sorry, the defense is gonna have to step it up. I mean, the amount of yards that they've been giving up, primarily through the air, is just not good. So they need to play the Bucks more aggressively on defense. I think get Baker Mayfield uncomfortable, bottle up the run like it happened last week with the Buccaneers, and I, this is a tough game to call, man. I think if the Eagles defense doesn't step up and rise to the occasion, because Jalen's not going to have anybody really get the ball to. Like I could see a lot of Saquon, like you said, and Dallas Goedert, but those are three big blows that offense. I could see the Buccaneers possibly pulling this one out.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. It's a very this could go either way, honestly. If Baker has one of them Cleveland Brown games, the Eagles could win, and if the Eagles can't do anything on offense, the Buccaneers can win. If the defense has holes in it, like we've seen for a couple weeks in a row here, I don't have much to say on that game at all. Bengals and Panthers. Bengals are 4.5 favorites. This game's interesting. The Bengals and the Commanders had one of the best primetime games I've watched in a while. Jaden Daniels went crazy. Joe Burrow went crazy. There was no turnovers from either team, and it was just up and down the field, something that we haven't seen this year. But I'm going to say it again. Joe Burrow is a mediocre quarterback if you take away star-studded receivers. And you got Andy Dalton revitalizing that Carolina Panthers team, coming in and showing out, which we also took the Panthers, and we said to hammer them just for the fact of I don't know. I don't think that Panthers team is that bad. I just think Bryce Young's quarterback play was that bad. You got a homecoming with Andy Dalton, and you got Joe Burrow and obviously Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, and just literally their offense is nuts. And they ran the ball really well last week as well against the Commanders, which obviously everyone said the Commanders' weak link is their secondary, and I mean their secondary played fairly well, but Chase Brown had a nice little game, 7 carries, 62 yards. I mean those are pretty good numbers. So, man, the Bengals being 0-3. I lean on the Bengals minus 4.5. As much as I want the underdogs, I want the Panthers to beat the brakes off the Bengals. Just the sheer fact, AFC North, it's the Bengals, just everything. I think that this is one of those games that the Bengals come out and they finally look like a complete team, and they come out and beat the Panthers handedly. Any thoughts on this game at all?
Just that Joe Burrow is notorious for starting the season off ice cold. I mean,
That is
he's
true.
done
Very
it.
true.
He's done it for his entire career. I don't know why, but he's always started the season off ice cold. Um, and then they start clicking and they catch fire, and then all of a sudden they're Super Bowl contenders. And then he gets hurt and he's out for the season, and then the Bengals miss the playoffs. So I'm kidding. I mean, I'm kind of kidding, but it's kind of true.
No, you're being dead ass. That's facts. That is
It is
facts.
true though. Like, I mean, come on, man. But no, that's what happens though. Joe Burrow starts off cold, then he starts catching fire, and the offense starts clicking. I think putting Chase Brown in and letting him get the reps that he needs because he was really good in college. So he came out last year. He didn't play much for the Bengals at that time. They had Joe Mixon, so he didn't get a lot of snaps. But now they're starting to get him in. He's quicker than Zach Moss. I think he's a better runner than Zach Moss. He's really good out of the backfield. So they get him incorporating, get the running game going, and then free up the passing game. I think the Bengals, if they start catching like they normally do, around this time, week 4, like they start catching, and then they start really looking like a force in the league. So I think this could be that game against Carolina. Um, the Bengals don't have Trent Brown. He had that really bad knee injury, which is
Yeah. Yep.
unfortunate. But our boy Amarius Mims is going to be stepping into the starting lineup and filling in for him. So that should be something to watch on the offensive side of the ball.
I like that. I like that a lot. We do have a fantasy question. We've been solid in the fantasy questions, helping people out. We got a question from Dame. He has a flex spot open, and he wants to know Ramondre Stevenson, who is matched up against the 49ers. So Ramondre Stevenson, JSN, or ETN in the flex? Who's Seattle play?
Let me see.
They play
Seattle.
Monday against the Lions. Ooh.
Ruh-roh.
I think you're going to see a high dosage of ETN against the Texans because that's the bright spot of that entire offense.
Yep.
But he does split carries a lot with Tank Bigsby, and Tank Bigsby's been rolling. For me, I'm going to have to say JSN. I think the Detroit's secondary has played well, but I just think the DK Metcalf factor in JSN and Kenneth Walker's healthy. I think it could open up a lot of holes for JSN. I'm going JSN if it was my fantasy lineup. I don't like Ramondre's lineup, and I don't against the 49ers. And I mean, ETN could catch a lot of passes out of the backfield.
Yeah, I think I'm going to roll with ETN because I was thinking JSN too. And yeah, just out of the backfield receiving wise, ETN, he gets a lot of touches, especially with Trevor Lawrence not being able to throw past 10 yards. So I think I'm going to go ETN on that.
Here's a question: is in Detroit, and I've watched some Detroit games, so I haven't really paid attention. I'd have to go back and look. In Detroit, has Terrion Arnold have they been like gluing like their top corner on the number one, and then having like, and obviously the Detroit Lions have some great corners over there, young great corners. Are they gluing a true number one corner on like DK, and then you know what I mean? Or are they kind of just letting them float?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know if they're gonna with them young DBs they have. They might just have them staying on one side of the field as having somebody follow. Yeah, that's. I'm not really sure, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now. Give me 1 second, Dame.
I would bring Brian Branch down and have him cover JSN out the slot.
I would. Yeah, I agree with Brian Branch is a dog. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Shout out Brian Branch, bro.
Yeah, he's a beast, man.
Shout out Bama too. What a game last night, man. What a game. And I hate to break it to you, but the second half I would rather watch the WWE because that shit. Someone made the call in the locker room and said, "Yo, y'all cannot blow out Georgia by 50 because that's exactly what was going to happen." And Jalen Milroe went crazy. All right. I'm looking right now. All right. So typically, the Lions do just keep their corners on the outside and just whoever lines up over there. So with the touches, Dame, is it a PPR league? And if it is, how many points per catch? Let me know, because that's gonna also be a deciding factor. I should have asked that first, actually, because if I'm not mistaken, Logan's back. Steven, he said Diggs got him 19 last week. Hell yeah, Logan. Did you win that matchup or no? That was the guy that asked us. It was what Stephon Diggs or I forget who the other one was.
Then we had one that was Stephon, and we had one that was Stephon and DK, and then there was one that was Stephon, and I can't remember who the other one was.
Hell yeah, Logan. Logan's 3-0 in his league. Love to hear that, man. Love to hear that.
That's awesome, man. I wish Stephon Diggs would have got in the end zone for you, but that's great. 19 points. 19 points, that's rock solid.
19 points and they didn't and he scored one touchdown. I mean, that's a good showing right there. I mean, he had 10 catches and almost 100 yards, I believe.
Yeah. He had 94 or something like that.
All right, so I'm going to have to go. I'm actually going to change my pick, Dame. I'm going to go with cuz JSN isn't getting a lot of targets. I'm going ETN. I got to roll with you on ETN. JSN isn't getting a lot of targets in the last couple games, and I don't see it being any different this game. I mean, he had 12 catches against New England, but they also threw the ball 45 times because they were losing somehow and ended up squeaking that out. But nonetheless, yeah, I'm gonna go. I gotta say ETN. I gotta piggyback off of Steven's comment. The amount of touches, run game, pass game, everything. Let's jump back into it. I'm taking the Bengals -4.5. Next game, Jets Broncos. Jets are favored by 7.5 points. If this was just a touchdown, I would take it. I don't like the extra half point. I mean, you could buy it down and get it at 7 or buy the half point. You buy it back. Usually you buy up, but you buy it back. The Jets are starting to roll, man. I think you see a lot of Aaron Rodgers getting more comfortable in that offense. He's really feeding the ball to Garrett Wilson, which I love. Garrett Wilson is playing. Breece Hall has scored a touchdown in every single game this season. Breece Hall's been rolling. I really like this team, and I think the defense is finally figuring it out with stopping people. Oh, Logan's hitting us with another one. All right, hang on one second. We'll get back into it. Logan, he's asking Diggs, T. Higgins, Wilson, or Amari Cooper. I'm assuming Garrett Wilson. Logan. Man, I kind of bro. I'm not gonna lie. Amari Cooper against the Raiders. Oh,
yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna say this. Diggs went off last week. You obviously have Nico Collins. I remember that from last week as well. And you said you're starting Nico Collins. And Nico Collins and DK. Bro, I feel like you drafted with like a bunch of like 3-year-olds. I don't know how you have this team.
Who was the third one? Garrett Wilson, Amari Cooper, and who?
T. Higgins or Diggs. This dude has every receiver in the league. Bro, I'm just gonna come out and say I don't like Garrett Wilson against PS2 because that's exactly who Patrick Surtain's gonna shadow. So I don't like that matchup. Stephon had his week last week, so I think it's Nico Collins' time to shine. T. Higgins hasn't had that breakout game that we've been waiting for. And T. Higgins is going to have a lot of one-on-one chances, I think, today because they're going to try and stop – the Panthers are going to try and stop Jamar Chase. But, man, I think that Deshaun Watson really relied on the Amari Cooper last week, and they force-fed him the ball. He did go out of the game late with an injury, though. Does he hold any injury designation today? He does not. Okay. I'm going Amari Cooper. That's me. That's where I'm riding with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the PS2 is going to be Shadow and Garrett Wilson. So for me, it comes down to Amari Cooper and T. Higgins. Do you want to roll the dice that this is the game that the Bengals get rolling, or do you want to try and play it safe and roll with Amari Cooper against the Raiders? You know, the issue is now that's a return game for Amari, who's drafted by the Raiders. So maybe it'll be like a revenge game type of deal, but it's just what kind of quarterback player is he going to get? So to me, it's kind of a toss up between Amari Cooper and T. Higgins.
I agree with that. I buy that 100%. Bro, he has his running backs are Bijan and Brees Hall. Bro, get me in your fantasy league next year, please.
Dang.
That's wild. All right. So moving on. We're at the Broncos Jets. I don't think the Broncos have any shot against the Jets. I just think that the Jets offense is starting to click and the defense is starting to figure it out. Love to see Aaron Rodgers comfortable, and last week he was on the move. He was running. He looked good. Threw some dimes on the run. I just don't see the Jets losing this game at all, and it's in New Jersey. I think Aaron Rodgers continues to ball out. I mean, hell, Aaron Rodgers he has 5 touchdowns and 1 interception, which is pretty dang good. The one big thing that on the Jets side of things, though, that does kind of hurt, Morgan Moses is out, and C.J. Mosley is doubtful again this week. So that their signal caller in the middle of the field, C.J., is out again. But I think that I think that they handily beat the Broncos. I don't think the Broncos have anything for them. Any thoughts with this game at all?
No, I agree with that. Yeah, I share the same sentiments that you got. I'm going with the Jets.
All right, Commanders, Arizona. I think you're going to see a lot of running in this game. I think you're going to see 2 quarterbacks just flying around the field. Just one looks like a toddler who steals your phone, and the other one just looks nonchalant, and he's just lightning. Arizona is favored by 3.5, which is kind of wild to me. I mean, I don't know if the odds makers are banking that the secondary of the Commanders isn't gonna play well this week. I don't know, man. That's crazy to me. I mean, yeah, Jamar Chase went crazy, 2 touchdowns over 100 yards, but I mean, so did the Commanders, and the Arizona defense isn't that great in my eyes. 3.5 seems like a lot, especially for a quarterback who just showed out and has that versatility of getting in space and he's gone. Austin Eckler's out this week. Terry McLaurin, good to see him finally go off. Obviously, on the other side, you have Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison. I think this game, and maybe you'll agree with me, I think this game is going to boil down to what kind of quarterback play. Which quarterback play do you get from both of these people? Because if either of them are bad, that team's going to lose.
I agree with that, man. I do. I know that Austin Eckler's not playing today, so I could see a lot of touches for B Rob in the running game. So keep an eye on that. He's been kind of inefficient this year. So
He averaged
the
1 yard
Commanders,
carry against the Bengals, just an FYI.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I love B Rob, but yeah, he's been very inconsistent this year. So I don't know, maybe with him getting an actual like volume of touches, because that's kind of the way he rolls anyway. You know, he needs the touches to kind of wear the defense down, and then he starts picking up chunk plays. So if the Commanders start getting him rolling early and start getting some in the run game and whatnot, I think that this could actually be a really good game, and I agree with you 100%. I think that this falls on the quarterbacks of both teams. Who's going to have a better day getting the ball downfield? Kyler Murray, you gotta you gotta keep honing in on Marvin Harrison Jr. man, and with with Jaden and Scary Terry starting to get a little chemistry going, man. I mean, Washington could start to do some things on offense, but that defense is still makes me nervous. But I think this game can go either way, to be honest with you.
I agree. I just think it boils down to quarterback play. I'm not touching this game, but if I had to, I would take the Commanders plus 3.5.
Well,
Patriots 49ers.
yuck.
There's no way the 49ers lose this game. There's not much to say. The Patriots looked abysmal. They've uh, I Drake May came in and played last week. He looked horrendous. He almost threw a pick six his first throw of the NFL. Patriots don't have anything to help their quarterbacks, man. Don't.
No.
Their line's not
No.
great. The run game, if you load the box, you stop it. The passing game, they don't. I just, man. 49ers minus 10 is a lot of points, but I just, I'm not touching it. But you have some key injuries, obviously, with the 49ers. I want to say that George Kittle is playing today. And Debo, okay, yes, so Debo's questionable. Javon Hargrave obviously is on IR. Chris McCaffrey IR, which that's whatever. But I think Ayuk, as long as he figures out what the hell's going on with him, he got paid and he's been horrible. Yeah, I think the 49ers win this game. I don't have much to say for this game because the 49ers, they don't look great. I mean, Brock Purdy's playing well. He's not turning the ball over. He doesn't look bad, but the defense looks terrible. And the Patriots are just the Patriots. The Patriots are just ass. The Patriots. The Patriots are just they're bad, dude. They're bad, man.
There is nothing. They have nothing on offense, dude. I mean, they got Ramondre Stevenson, and that's it. I mean, you stop the run. Their line is. I don't want to say they have the worst line in the NFL, offensive line, but I mean, they got to be like top 3 worst line in the league. Like their line is terrible. Jacoby Brissett was getting absolutely nuked on behind that line, and then it's not going to be any better for Drake May, who's a rookie who you want to develop and have him as your quarterback for the future, and that's why Brissett has been starting, you know. But I there's nothing on that Patriots offense that really threatens anybody. I mean, honestly,
Yeah,
yeah, they have nothing.
yeah. Whew.
So yeah, I'm rolling with the 49ers. I don't care how many injuries they have.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I am. I'm right there with you. Moving on to a game that we just kind of spoke about. Cleveland Browns, Raiders. Raiders, I think every name on that team is not playing. Devontae Adams, Max Crosby. Who else is on that list of not playing?
Michael Mayer, Devon
Michael
Diablo.
Mayer, Devon Diablo. Yeah, it just top to bottom. And
I'm not sure if they're playing or not.
Devon's out. Devontae's out. I'm pretty sure they said Max Crosby was out. Let me look and confirm. Yeah. Devontae, Max, Devine, Mayer, they're all out. So, give me the Browns, man. We talked about the Browns. Deshaun Watson hasn't looked great. Jerome Ford has been average. But I think I don't even want to talk about this game. I'm taking the Browns minus 2.5. It opened up at 1.5. I'm taking the Browns minus 2.5, but I want to talk about just quick run through on it. Is Devontae looking to get traded? That's the big question. I
Bro,
think he
Devontae's been looking
wants
to get
out.
traded since he got there. Like,
I mean, since they got rid of Carr the next year, I mean, they were like, all right, get him out. Which I
yeah,
don't quite understand, but I I just man, I just don't see Devontae. I feel like they're gonna be so like he's so high valued. It's not like Devontae's some random ass receiver. I mean, we're talking about Devontae Adams here. So, if anything, if Devontae does want traded, I mean, are we talking about a first for Devontae?
man, I would say yeah, because I mean everybody thinks Devontae's like 36. He's 31 years old, so he's not old, and he's still playing at a very high level. I don't think you give up multiple first round picks or anything
Right.
crazy like a first and a second, but I think that they could possibly get a first out of him, depending on who's trading for him. I think if it's a Super Bowl contender team or a team that's like, man, we
You
need
mean
that number one
Pittsburgh?
receiver. Yeah, if it's Pittsburgh or Baltimore or something like that, like I think you have to look at it and kind of see, like how is this going to impact our team? This is what we need. We need a number one receiver type of deal. Then yeah, I can see a team giving up a first round pick. But I know honestly, it kind of makes sense for the Raiders to trade him because they are a rebuilding team. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
it
Like
does get some draft capital.
yeah, and I love Devontae Adams. I love Devontae Adams. He's awesome. But he's not getting any younger. He's not happy there. He doesn't want to be there.
Yeah.
So take the picks that you can get for him. If you can get a high pick, like a first round pick, or a couple seconds, maybe 2 seconds and a third, something like that. I say you do trade him and keep trying to rebuild this team because I do think Antonio Pierce is trying to get this team right. And I would say trade him. He doesn't want to be there. So yeah, maybe trade him. But you got a young guy like Brock Bowers, who I think we're going to see a lot of today. But you got a young guy like Brock Bowers that you're going to keep building off of, and just keep building to that team, man. Go ahead and trade Devontae, make it easy on both of you, get some picks, and keep building that team.
And that rolls me right into my next question. The Eagles draft insane because they just draft everyone from the Georgia's team. Hear me out. This might sound crazy. But do you think the Eagles could be on the phone saying, hey, let us get Devontae and giving up couple? I mean, look how young that defense is and studded. I mean, well, college players studded. And I mean, they still got to figure out in the pros. But, bro, you get Devontae and then A.J. Brown comes back healthy and Devonta Smith comes back healthy. Oh, my goodness.
Dude,
Could you see it happen? I mean, I could see it happening.
I will never put anything past Howie Roseman, ever. I will never. Howie Roseman is one of the slickest dudes as far as organizations go, man. I could see him just being like, you know what, like you said, we have a just an influx of young talent on our team. We don't really need much. We don't really need anything, So like, yeah, here's a first, like
Right. Like,
why not? Here's a second and a third,
bro,
2 seconds, whatever.
that has to immediately if Devontae gets traded to the Eagles, I want everyone to literally go crazy and share the hell out of the live on TikTok, every platform possible, as we called it. But in the same sense, if the Eagles were to trade for Devontae, that automatically has to put them as one of the front runners for Super Bowl, right? I mean, there's no question.
You know who I think should maybe look into trading for him?
Yeah, Pittsburgh. Go ahead and say it.
The Chargers. The Chargers.
Ooh,
I mean, I
ooh.
know the Chargers. They're just an injury waiting to happen, but Dude, I mean, you don't have Keenan Allen anymore. I mean, you got Josh Palmer, but he's hurt. You got Quentin Johnston, he's been solid. He's had
Yeah,
spurts or whatever.
he's played decent this year.
You got Lad McConkey, who's played well. But like, they really need a true number one receiver, and there's your chance to get your true number one receiver.
Yeah,
I think
but
Devontae would
mine
look dope in a Chargers uniform.
he would look sick. He would look sick. I'm not gonna lie. But my fear with that is I feel that the Chargers need that draft capital, and Harbaugh is pretty like locked in with drafts, and I just don't think that they would give up that much. I mean, if they could get him for a third and a fourth, absolutely. But I don't think that high draft capital. I think Harbaugh holds value to that so much that I don't think they would. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's true. Like I said, it depends on where they're at as a team. If they're a team that's like on top, dude, watch the Chiefs trade for him or something. Dude, I will quit watching football. I'll quit watching football, dude, so quick.
Don't even say it. Don't even say it. All right. Speaking of
The
the
Bills.
Chiefs,
What about the Bills? Sorry. I was
no,
like, dang,
actually,
what about the Bills, dude?
bro, I honestly I thought about the Bills, but at the same time, I feel that the Bills are in such a good place that they don't have like an ego at receiver, and that's making Josh Allen 10 times better. And that's where I'm
True.
going to leave that.
Okay. All right.
And I love Devontae, but he does have that ego, and I feel that where they're at as a team, no one cares who gets the ball right now, and I think that's why the Bills are rolling like they are.
True.
I think that plays a big factor in it. Chiefs Chargers. Since you mentioned the Chiefs,
Oh, God, here we go.
I'm not even gonna beat a dead horse. The refs play for the Chiefs, and that's just what it is.
Dude, they couldn't
I
have fell into a better game.
Derwin James suspended.
Joe Alt out. Rashawn
Joe
Slater
Alt hurt.
out.
Yeah, I don't know why Derwin James is suspended. I've seen worse hits this year, and I know it's just a coincidence, blah blah blah. But man, how you gonna suspend Derwin James? Literally the game that they're playing the Chiefs.
Yeah,
And
exactly, dude.
you forgot the big one too, of someone that's
Oh,
out.
I was gonna keep naming them. Trust me.
I'm pretty sure Justin Herbert is out.
That's what I'm saying. And even if he's not, do you start him against the Chiefs with that?
No.
That line was playing bad before those two got hurt, and they were playing well. Don't get me wrong, but like once Slater went, that line just started to fall apart, and then Alt went down, and it's like, okay, like do you even put him out there?
I wouldn't, honestly.
It says Justin Herbert is expected to start versus
Oh,
the Chiefs.
they are.
What the heck?
Okay.
Somebody else is out too. Junior Colston's out.
This is gonna
Come on, man.
This is gonna be the shocking pick of the day. To be honest with you.
Joey Bosa is hurt. Joey Bosa is always hurt. Sorry.
Give me the Chargers plus 7.5 to cover the spread. I think that the Chargers always play the Chiefs tough. I don't care who's on the field. If their backup, which is Case Keenum, am I right on that? I think is it Case? I can't remember off the top of my head.
I can't either. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on that too.
Who is their backup quarterback? Tyler Heineke. That's it, Tyler. Oh, real quick, Flowers or Pollard? They or Pollard? I'm gonna be that guy. Give me Zay Flowers, and you'll understand why. I don't even have to look at matchups. I don't have to look at it. Give me Zay Flowers, and I will. If you stick around, you'll understand why I'm picking Zay Flowers in a minute, because that game is next. What do you think, Zay Flowers or Penny Pollard?
That's tough, dude. I said Tony Pollard last week, and he laid an egg. Who are they playing? Miami? Tennessee? They play Miami?
Yeah.
Mm,
One thing Miami's going to
let me
do,
think on
they're
that.
not letting you run the ball.
Yeah, let me think on that one. Yeah.
All right. So, give me the Chargers plus 7.5. I anticipated Heineke playing and starting. Heineke has that dog in him. But if Herbert's playing, that's fine too. The Chargers always play the Chiefs tough. And the Chiefs have not impressed me. I'm sorry, but they haven't. They should have lost the game. No, all right, let me back up. The Ravens game, they literally won by a toe. There's some bullshit calls, but whatever. The Ravens weren't clicking on all cylinders. So I'll give him that win. That's one win. The Bengals got robbed. I'm sorry. I don't care if you're a Chiefs fan. I apologize. I have nothing. I like Patrick Mahomes. I have nothing against the guy. I love Andy Reid. But let them be great without the referees. The
Yep.
Falcons got absolutely boned. The Falcons win that game, or they lose by one. The last second field goal. But I'm sorry, the Chiefs have not looked good. Their offense, other than a couple big splash plays, has looked abysmal. They can't run the ball without Isaiah Pacheco. So I'm sorry. The Chiefs do not look good. They don't look dominant. They're gonna run into a team that's gonna manhandle them if the refs aren't on their side. Give me the Chargers plus 7.5. That is my sleeper of the week. I love that pick. I don't know what it is, but the Chargers cover this spread. It is not a blowout. I don't think. I could be wrong. This could be the loss this week for the first week that in pros that we had. Our two losses came in week 1 and yesterday in college. The last 2 weeks we have not lost an NFL bet yet, and I don't plan on losing today. But if Herbert's ankle, which was re-aggravated, which I don't like that he's starting, and like you, I mean your key facts of Slater, Joe Alt, and
Yep.
that's hurtful. But I just I like the Chargers. I like the Chargers to cover the spread. Do the Chiefs win? Probably, but I don't think they win by 8 points. I don't. Moving on to your favorite team and why I said Zay Flowers. Bills Mafia, if you're listening, I'm sorry. The run ends tonight. Baltimore beats the Bills. Derrick Henry goes off. Zay Flowers has himself a game. Lamar Jackson, I'm looking at like 225, 2 passing touchdowns, and 60, 70 yards rushing. Baltimore is beating the Bills tonight. Any way you cut it, Baltimore does not lose this game. Baltimore's about to get rolling, and it's going to get scary. And that's coming from a Pittsburgh Steelers diehard fan. Steven, I know you're a Baltimore fan, and you're very realistic. I just don't see Baltimore doing what the Jaguars did and letting Josh Allen do whatever the hell he wants. What is your thoughts of this game? What do you see?
The Ravens have to get started early in the run game. You got to contain Josh Allen. That's the biggest thing. I feel like people sometimes forget that the dude can run. I mean, the dude can freaking fly, and he's a hammer.
He's
Got to
literally like a
contain Josh
runaway
Allen.
Mack truck.
He is, dude, and he's reckless. I mean, he's like, I mean, everybody compares him, but yeah, he's like a young Ben, dude. I mean, he's just a freight train, and I mean, he's playing better than I think he's ever played. I mean,
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah.
he's playing really, really well. I think for us, if we play like we played against Dallas for 4 freaking quarters, I think that we beat the Bills. But we cannot have a late game blunder like we had last week against Dallas because the Bills will put up points. We have to match them for points. We have to get all facets of our offense clicking. That includes Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews has been just he's just been invisible. He just hasn't
He's a
been
ghost.
he hasn't been Mark Andrews of old. We need to get him, Likely, Flowers. We need to get them rolling in the passing game, and for God's sakes, we got to get Derrick Henry rolling like he did last week. Derrick Henry traditionally has dominated the Bills. I mean, Derrick Henry has been a problem for the Bills for a long time.
Oh,
So
there's a meme of Derrick Henry stiff arming
Josh Norman,
Josh Norman in a Bills uniform.
Josh Norman is a one-year wonder. He was a hype
Yep.
train. I said it. I don't care what anyone
And he
says. He had
got
one
paid
good year.
because of it.
He got freaking paid and he fell off the map and he got stiff armed into oblivion by Derrick Henry. So I think that if we're able to do that and we're capable of doing that, I think we do beat the Bills. It's just they've got to play all 4 quarters. You can't do this, quarters 1 through 3. I hope that with Lamar Jackson, with what he said in the post game, I hope that clicks, and I hope that that's a point of emphasis in practice this week. We've got to finish games. We've got to stay aggressive. Bill Belichick and them did it for years, bro. I don't care if you drop 50 on a team and you win 50-3. I don't give a shit. There's college teams out there getting blown out 80-4. Like I don't care. Like you got to stay aggressive. You got to put up points, especially against a team like the Bills. But I do think we can beat them. On the flip side, the Bills are rolling right now. Josh Allen's playing incredibly well. James Cook has been kind of up and down, but he's got his. I think he's going to get clicking too. But biggest thing is contain Josh Allen. Don't let him make any plays with his legs. Real quick, back to what we talked about before with Tony and Zay. I think I'm going to say start Tony Pollard over Zay.
Okay. Well,
I think I'm going to say
you
start.
You got one on one and one on the other.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's kind of a toss up, man. We need more consistency on our offense before I could say to 100% start Zay, which Zay is one of the most targeted receivers in the league. The ball's just not getting there. So hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully Zay Flowers goes for $150 and 3 tuds today. I hope I'm wrong, but I'll leave the pick up to you, man.
All right, so there's that. The recipe for success, and that's what it is. Titans Dolphins. Tyler Huntley's getting a start. That's the big story of the weekend. Huntley has showed some good things when he played for Baltimore. And now you got A-Chain, you got Waddle, you got Tyreek Hill. Now you add another quarterback that's not afraid to run and is fast as hell. You have more speed, another dynamic. Miami is favored in this game. But you are talking about a guy that is fairly new to this offense. I don't like this game. Man. Will Levis figures out a way to do some boneheaded dumb shit every week. Literally for 3 straight weeks, he has done something so stupid.
He's a walking meme, dude.
And I'm hoping, I honestly hope for 16 weeks, because obviously they have a bye week. And I mean, he could do something on his bye week, I guess. He could make the news. But I'm hoping with everything in me that he does something again. And it just adds to the week 4. It just goes to the week 4 meme. The Miami defense, it's not been the greatest, but obviously injuries are a thing with them. They get hit by the injury bug for some reason in the worst way possible. Jeffrey Simmons is doubtful for the Tennessee Titans, which that takes that's a huge blow in the middle of that team. Jeffrey Simmons, I feel, is the leader of that defense. So it could open up the run lanes, and I think that you are going to see a lot of running. I think you're going to. I honestly think you're going to see a lot of RPOs today with having Tyler Huntley in there at quarterback. You're going to see a lot of he can pull the ball out. He can just quick passes to Tyreek, Jalen Waddle, get everyone in space, and that's how the Dolphins win this game. I don't think the Dolphins lose this game. It initially opened as the Tennessee Titans as 0.5-point favorites, and all the money has come in on Miami to win this game, and the line has moved to 2.5. So I might put a bet in on Monday. It just depends. I'm not a huge fan of this, but I don't see the Dolphins lose. I think they get the win that they're looking for. What's your thoughts?
I'm with my boy Snoop, dude. Yeah, I'm with
Mm-hmm.
Snoop. I think Snoop's gonna be able to extend plays, and that'll give Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle time to get freed up. I mean, he was just signed, I think, 2 weeks ago off of
Yeah.
our practice squad.
Yep.
And Huntley's my dude, man. I mean, when people talk about Tyler Huntley, they act like he was like a first round pick or something. This dude was undrafted, and he's carved out a very solid career, and he plays really well, and he's able to extend plays with his legs, and he's not afraid to throw the damn ball. So I think this gives the Dolphins a better opportunity than it would have with Skylar Thompson. I think he's coming in as just being. I mean, they don't know what they're going to get with him. There's no real like how is he going to fit into this offense? So the Titans are they're kind of going in blind with Tyler Huntley back there, which, like I said, he's not a world beater. I'm not saying that Tyler Huntley is, Josh Allen or nothing, but I think that he opens up a different dimension for this Dolphins team,
Right.
and I see the Dolphins pulling it out against Tennessee just because Tennessee's they're just inept right now. I don't know. I don't really know what's going on with this team. They've really tried to build around Will Levis, and they've added some pieces that have been really, that are really good pieces on paper, but they just as a team just aren't functioning as a unit. So I'm going with the Dolphins.
I agree. And one thing I do want to say about Huntley is he when he uh when he played in relief like for Lamar when Lamar was hurt, that I have like Huntley has played well, but he also shows like very like he has some inconsistencies throwing the ball, like almost like he's timid. So that could be
Mm-hmm.
that could be a key factor. But yeah, I like the Dolphins. I don't think Tennessee knows what the hell they're doing. They can't figure it out.
I think it's going to be a close game, and that's why I went with Tony Pollard. I think it's just going to be one of those games where they're not going to lose the game script of running the ball and using him in the passing game along with Tajay Spears. So that's kind of why I went with Tony Pollard over Zay. But um, I think Miami goes over on this one.
All right, Seahawks Lions.
This
I
can be
like.
a good game, I think.
Yeah, I think this could be a very good game. If Aiden Hutchinson can get to the quarterback, I think it's a long day for Seattle. I like the Lions -3.5. But I think this could be a good game. If I think the Lions, the key to success is get Montgomery and Jameer Gibbs rolling. JMO needs to have a big game. I mean, Almiron, he's just going to do his thing. But defensively, you got to be able to slow down DK. You can't give up that big 75-yard bomb that we've been like accustomed to seeing so much from DK. DK just seems like that every week he has that one play where it's a 75-yard bomb for a touchdown and it keeps Seattle in the game.
He's awesome, man.
But I mean, the Lions they've been playing well other than the mental breakdown against the Buccaneers. They squeaked one out against Arizona in a good tight game. It was a heavy dosage of David Montgomery. I just I don't Seattle to me is a fake undefeated team. They're 3-0 and I don't believe that their record says they're better than they are. But we did say they're that sneaky type of team, and we said at the beginning of the year, and they're very under the radar. They're one of they're one of them teams where you don't expect very much. So if they do lose, you're like, it is what it is. So I like I like the Lions to win this game. I think that the Lions are leaning a lot more on that run game now with Montgomery. I mean, Montgomery's been going crazy lately. And then you just dabble in Jameer Gibbs, and Jameer Gibbs does what he does. And as long as Jared Goff doesn't turn the ball over, it's that they win football games. I think they have a lot of young pieces on defense, and we mentioned that earlier. And I think that they're just gonna get better, obviously. But that defense is flying around. They have so much speed on defense. And the one thing I do want to make mention of the Lions is they are not giving up those 30 and 40-point games where it's the last person has the ball wins the game. So clearly the defense has gotten better. And the Seahawks get Kenneth Murray back this week, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they do. But they did, on the defense side of the ball, the Seattle are going to be without Byron Murphy, Leonard Williams, and their linebacker Owusu. So, I mean, that could be a key factor. Oh, wait a minute! I see a discrepancy here. Brian Branch is doubtful.
What's going on with him?
Illness. Wow.
That must have been something. Well, if it's an illness, it must have just popped up.
Yeah. And the illness, usually they just pump full with an IV bag and send them on their way.
Yeah, out there crapping on themselves. Huh. Well,
All right.
that sucks for Detroit.
Yeah, that's a huge blow. Brian Branch has been playing amazing. Um, yeah, give me Detroit, man. I like Detroit, and I think it could be a very good game. But I think Detroit hands Seattle their first loss this week, and I think Geno Smith has one of them games where Aiden Hutchinson's just giving him fits, and he has one of them games where it's a subpar game, and it's not that mistake-free football that wins them games. What's your thoughts with this game?
Yeah, I was reading Brian Branch's deal. Lion safety Brian Branch didn't receive an injury designation on Saturday, but the team put him on the injury report Sunday as doubtful due to illness. So, yeah, it must have just hit him like last night or this morning. That sucks.
Yeah, that's
Um,
that's actually kind of wild.
yeah, that man, that sucks. Wow, yeah, that's a big blow for Detroit. As far as this game goes, though, man, like I said, I think this is gonna be a really good game. I mean, both teams are very talented. Both teams, they kind of, same. Goff's obviously better than Geno, but they kind of live and die by their quarterback type of deal. But
Yep.
Kenneth Walker gets moving, man. He gets rolling. You get DK rolling, JSN, Lockett, and you you know, start getting something going. Seattle is a pretty rock solid team, man. It's just what are you getting out of Geno and that line? Like you said with Hutchinson, man, Aiden Hutchinson is playing. Dude, he's having a year, dude. Like it's only week 4, but I mean, he's making a case for eventually if he keeps playing at the level he's playing, he could be one of those top, defensive player of the year type of guys. He's playing excellent this year. I think that this game could go either way, truthfully. But I'm gonna go with the Sea Chickens. I think the Sea Chickens pull it out against Detroit.
One fun fact I will say is Dan Campbell is 0-3 against Seattle.
Really?
Yep,
That's surprising.
it is.
Wow.
Very. I just feel that them two big pieces on that defensive front with Byron Murphy and Leonard Williams, the holes are going to be wide for pause. This ain't a Diddy party. Sorry, I had to throw that in there. For for Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. One thing we keep missing, just for the sheer fact that I've been on study afternoon, I want to cover the Thursday night game right now for next week. That way, because we missed it, and I took the under on the Dallas and Giants. I took the under the points. So I want to cover the Week 5 game for Atlanta. There's no lines out on it yet, so maybe I'll just throw it up on the Facebook page. What I'm gonna pick on Thursday next week, just so everyone has it. Which I actually will post a link in the stream if anyone wants to go to the Facebook page. All right, the link is posted in the stream. If anyone wants to check out the Facebook page, you more than welcome to drop a follow there. But Falcons and Tampa, I'm not sure. It's obviously the lines are going to teeter on what happens with Tampa this week, what happens with Atlanta. That's just how everything works and how odds makers make their living. I feel that I'm taking the Falcons against the Saints this week. I'm taking the points -2.5, and the Buccaneers playing the Eagles. So, and with a absolutely decimated Eagles team, their offensive weapons are depleted. I feel if Tampa beats the Eagles handedly, and the Falcons beat the Saints, I think you'll see a 2.5, 3.5 maybe spread, something in that area. Leaning on the Falcons being the favorite and an over-under, depending on points scored. The over-unders have been really low this year. Just there's been a lot of – you haven't seen the high octane other than the Bengals versus Commanders. You haven't seen the air attack really playing a factor. It's been a very fast – the clock running fast, running type of game and short passes where the clocks just continue running. So you might see a 40 and a 2.5, maybe up to 45.5 type of over under. If that is the case, I would lean if it's a 2.5 to a 3 spread Atlanta, I would lean on Atlanta to cover that because they are in Atlanta. But obviously injuries play a big factor. That's why it's so hard to cover a game a week ahead. But barring everything being healthy, barring everything, I think Atlanta's slowly starting to get momentum. I think Kirk Cousins is getting more comfortable, and I just like Atlanta in that game against the Buccaneers. Prime time. Kirk Cousins is notorious to be terrible in primetime games. Damn. No, I like Atlanta. Do you have any thoughts or any input on that Tampa Atlanta game for next Thursday?
If the teams are as they are with Antoine Winfield being out and stuff like that, if they are as they are going into that game, I do like Atlanta more than Tampa Bay. Atlanta's got to get. Bijan had a rough week last week.
Yeah.
They need to get him really rolling. I mean, it could have just been a one-off because he has played good this year. But
I blame it on the play calling. They try to run an outside zone, like an off tackle run, all game long. They didn't run any other play. I watched a lot of that game. They didn't run any any other run play. They didn't run any pitches. Like, and granted, a pitch is an off tackle, but they weren't like trying to like double team Chris Jones up the middle and slip Bijan through the seam on a dive or an inside zone or like anything.
Mhm.
Like, it was strictly off tackle from under center, and they knew the Chiefs knew they were running off tackle. I mean, every play got blown up in the backfield. The linebackers just shot the gap. So I think that was
Right.
just piss poor coaching and offensive game plan, to be honest with you. And the reason why I believe they ran that off tackle so much is because it worked so well the week prior, and they were like, "Oh, this is it." It's like Madden. You find a play that works, and you won't. You're screw it. I'm not leaving this play. This play's been amazing for us, and they refused to change, and it bit them in the ass, and unfortunately, they lost.
Yeah, that's no bueno, dude.
So, um, yeah, I like Atlanta next week. We'll touch base. Hopefully, maybe we can touch base. Try and do. I know you work during the day. Maybe if you have like a free like 10, 20 minutes, we can cover it real quick and just throw a video up on it. But that's where we're at with it. Any closing thoughts on what we covered or anything?
Um, no, I think no, I think we pretty much covered everything.
We did gain some new followers today, which we greatly appreciate. We had a bunch of views. Shout out to my boy Patrick Uphold. He was tuned in and at the gym. He he actually texted me while we were live, and he said I got an hour got an hour in listening at the gym, working out. And he said, I'm going to miss the tail end of your picks for this week. If you can text me them, if you don't mind. And then he said, audio was awesome. It was very clear. And we were both bringing up some really good points on every side of the ball, both teams, so on and so forth. So we appreciate you tuning in, man. Appreciate the feedback. That's what we're looking for. Shout out to T Dog. She's always holding it down. She posted on the Facebook page that we were live. Let everybody know. Um, so there's a lot of hands in this, and we're just trying to make it the best we can possibly be and give our insight on everything. And we appreciate everyone, man. We really do. We appreciate all the questions from Dame, Logan, Brett. Hopefully, our uh, thoughts on the fantasy picks, or not fantasy, the what the hell's it called? Yeah, fantasy. The fantasy
Yeah, fantasy
picks.
football. Yeah.
Hopefully, they pay out for you guys or pan out for you guys. And we didn't steer you in the wrong direction. We are two guys that enjoy football, love football, and that's kind of why we did this. And we talk about it on a regular basis, anytime, every other day. So why not just put it down and see if other people agree with us, disagree with us, tell us that they hate us, whatever. So if Steven doesn't have anything else, if he doesn't have any closing thoughts, any thank yous or anything like that, you good?
Yeah, no, obviously thank you guys for tuning in and taking the time out of your day to listen to us, ramble and talk about, different games throughout the day and stuff. And, good luck to everybody in their fantasy. And if anybody has any other questions and stuff like that, you can leave a comment on our Facebook page and whatnot, and we'll try to answer them, as quickly as possible.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
thank you guys for tuning in.
Yeah, we monitor the Facebook page. There's me, Steven, and my wife. We all monitor it, so it'll get answered pretty quickly if you guys have any questions. I did drop the link in the bio, which I'm going to update the TikTok bio. It's going to have the link on there, so anyone can just click on it. It'll take you straight there, and you can follow it if you want to follow it on Facebook. The YouTube channel is posted in the TikTok bio. So we're trying to cover all bases. We're trying to do this thing. So let's have a good weekend of football. Thank you, everyone. We are Brandon and Steven.